So no cosplay for you then, right? Hey man, with Wolf's Edge, your character Sam, like come on man, it would have been easy. You could have just gotten some fur and a stick with a little blade on it. There you go, boom, you would have been.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
They didn't really hire me. I was just lucky they never kicked my ass out of the building. Oh shit. There we
Our
go.
set is falling apart.
There we go. Oh wait, hold on.
There's no budget.
That's the best part.
Can't afford gaffer tape.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
How's that go?
That work?
Mm-hmm.
Ta-da.
Okay. Welcome back to Wolfpack Podcast. We've got Joel Gomez here. He's one of our variant artists for Wolf's Edge, and he is a man of great talents. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Really excited about the project. I dig the character. I love the look of the art. It just kind of fit into my wheelhouse, so I had to check it out, and I'm glad Gabor gave me a shout out. I mentioned or just kind of said hi at WonderCon, which was a fun show. Did you guys have a good time at the show? WonderCon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff, right? So I understand it was your first convention?
It
Yeah,
was our
yeah.
first WonderCon and our first comic convention. Actually.
That's what I meant. So what was the biggest takeaway?
Well, obviously, I mean, my favorite part was just meeting artists. We went there with a goal to meet as many artists as we could, or to find art that spoke to us.
Sure.
And then and try to form a rapport with those artists, and hopefully get some guest artists for our project.
And meet Wally, right?
But truly my favorite part of WonderCon was meeting Wally,
Right.
who is a lot bigger than I realized.
Yeah.
And that was incredible.
What about you, Gabor? What'd you think? What was your favorite thing about the show?
I think the community, but we talked about this. The comic community is amazing.
Yeah.
It's really,
Yeah.
really open, really friendly.
Really positive,
Yeah.
Yeah, they are really
easy to approach.
shining people. They are not like closing down to other things.
No.
That was amazing.
So no cosplay for you then, right?
I told Gabor that we got to get costumes, and we were going.
That's right.
And he said, "No, man, no." And honestly, I was gonna do it, but I was gonna go to the costume shop down the street, and they were closed.
Hey man, with Wolf's Edge, your character Sam, like come on man, it would have been easy. You could have just gotten some fur and a stick with a little blade on it. There you go, boom, you would have been.
Don't tempt me with a good time. I'm totally down. Gabor less down.
Right.
Michael has a Captain Kirk outfit downstairs.
Whoa, that's awesome.
But he said he doesn't fit in it anymore. So
sounds like an excuse. We have to see.
sounds like a bunch of excuses. The costume shop is closed.
right.
I don't fit anymore. Yeah.
So tell me this: would you guys do another convention? Would you go?
Absolutely. No, I've got a spreadsheet already of different conventions.
That's awesome.
I live in Texas, so there's definitely ones around there. There's one in Austin coming up, and Houston, and yeah, for sure. I mean, the reception was great. We were able to show people the artwork, and it's one thing making it; it's another thing just handing it to someone and watching them flip through it and getting a positive reaction.
That's kind of cool. I didn't think about that. So tell me about that. What was the feeling like? How did you feel seeing people flip through your book? Was that your first time to have strangers flip through your
Pretty
book?
much. I mean,
Especially comic people.
You're right.
Right.
Okay.
yeah.
So that kind of been big. That had to be exciting.
It was really exciting.
Yeah, we were worried.
I was worried. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't think
Well, it's
about
kind of
that.
scary because, you seeing them, they're not reacting at first.
Sure,
they're going
sure.
through it.
Yeah.
And-
Ryan Benjamin.
Oh my God, I used to work in studio with that guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we know each other pretty well.
Oh, that's cool because
Yeah.
he's doing a cover for us as well.
Yeah, the jerk. No, we're good friends. We used to work at Wildstorm Studios together. All right, well, so tell me this. So you're having people flip through your book.
Taking over the podcast.
Oh, wait, no.
Go.
You having people flip through the book, and was there anybody that hung up on something and looked at it and was like, wow, this is really cool that you didn't expect? Did you have them looking at a page in a way that you were like, oh, I didn't expect them to respond that way?
I think
So we are not comic book artists.
Yeah, sure.
So I am really fan of our stuff.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
That's why I'm doing it, because I'm like looking at it and like, wow. So I was worried if they react the same way, but I was also like delighted or like relieved, when I saw the people like looking at it and like, whoa, okay.
So it kind of reinforced your taste where you're like, hey, this is good. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
cool.
But even like things like the color, I think the color's awesome.
Right.
But I know that's something that people can critique, and
I think in
we
general,
had some positive
yeah,
reactions
yeah.
to that. So
I think overall, maybe you guys are lucky because in the sense, maybe you don't even realize it. What I mean to say is that the book doesn't look like an indie book. It looks great. So I think there's that. And being first time guys putting a book together, you don't get to feel the suckiness of having like a bad book because now you're like, oh, this is our first book. And it's like, wow, that's a great first book. Holy cow. So I think it looks fantastic. When I saw it in Gabor, came on my table, that was really cool. And I thought, oh yeah, I meet a lot of really cool and interesting people. But when I saw this book, I was like, wow, this is pretty top notch. And again, the colors really made the overall, it was like a symphony, right? It was just like, wow, this is super cool with the colors. It looked fabulous.
Thank you.
It reminded me of this artist that I'm a big fan of. He did a lot of movie posters, Drew Struzan, and he did like Star Wars movie posters. He did The Rocketeer. He did The Thing. He's known for so many movie posters. Anyway, there's a quality in the artist you guys have for the book that it kind of has that vibe, and it's like very lush.
Thank you.
So it's really cool. Yeah.
Lush is good.
Right? It looks good. It's really good. Plus, I mean, it's on an island, so there's all
Yeah,
kinds of stuff.
Lush works.
Yes.
Lush works.
That's
So
awesome.
let me just take a look at this. Okay, it's good.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, just gotta make sure. No, I'm sorry. So make sure.
working.
I'm making sure it's on. I didn't see the light on, but now I see it.
Okay, I saw yours too. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I know.
See?
These things are handy. They connect right with the camera.
Oh,
Super easy.
that's nice.
I mean, back in the day,
Do you have one too?
No, it's
but this picks up. Yeah.
Oh, really?
We've connected 3, and then it creates an echo. If there's too many,
Oh,
this will get him just fine.
wow, that's pretty cool.
Well, it used to be we had to record separately the audio,
Oh, that's a
sync it
pain in the butt.
to the video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, we learned it in film school and stuff. So, but
Is there a lot of editing when you guys do this? No.
we do pretty minimal editing. That's kind of the whole thing.
Yeah, sure. I get it.
People get it raw, unvarnished, and and we were talking about that outside. That's kind of the cool aspect of this because they're sort of just conversations we would normally have with
yeah.
people, and it's a really genuine way to meet artists, other fellow artists. It's a good excuse to like have you over.
Yeah, hang out and just be
It's for the podcast, but it's just hanging out really.
yeah, talking creative shit,
Yeah.
comparing notes.
Joel, tell me about your artistic background. Like, did you draw as a kid? Did this
Right.
what were your comics, or what drew you to this space in the first place?
I got into comics as a little kid, like everyone does, and somewhere beginning of high school, I started dropping that off and partying and wanting to date girls and all this stuff, and so I didn't pick up comics again until right after high school, which was a big deal at the time. Image Comics kind of took off, and now I'm really dating myself, and so I was really into that whole movement of comics. It was kind of the thing, really. I guess art-driven stuff, not as much as in the stories, which is ironic because a lot of that stuff, it didn't really hold up in a lot of ways. But anyway, that's how I got into comics, and I got to really get into the art that way. And sometime, oh man, I want to say when I was 27, 28, I took the plunge, and I found a studio in Santa Monica called Top Cow Productions that was run by one of my favorite artists named Mark Silvestri.
Yeah.
And I went there and I met him, and I decided this is what I want to do. And I became an intern at Top Cow. They didn't really hire me. I was just lucky they never kicked my ass out of the building because it wasn't an official position. I was just there loitering, bugging artists and learning as much as I could. and I had a really strong motivation for backgrounds. Like people, for some reason, really thought my backgrounds were great, and so I just used that as an excuse to get into comics, and so I started doing background art for people at Top Cow, and oddly enough, a lot of them were always late on their books, so it made for a perfect like connection. And I just used that opportunity to pick their brain, and I would every opportunity I got to just show them my work after doing their work, because they would give me a layout and say, okay, put these buildings here, draw this car here, and it was fun because I programmed myself, because a lot of people hated doing backgrounds, and I get it. It sucks, but
Why does it suck?
it's no fun.
Break it down for the layman.
Yeah, basically backgrounds is a lot of perspective and grids and rulers and finding the vanishing point, and people just hate that kind of stuff.
What's the vanishing point?
There you go. See, so it's like on a horizon line, you try and find a vanishing point. If you've got a 2-point perspective view of a building, you have two sides of this square, and so you want to show both facets of the structure, right? And so those points or those edges of the building will meet at certain points, so that'd be like a 2-point, right? And so it goes on from there. There's 1 point, there's 3 point, there's even 4 or 5 point, whatever you want. But anyway, in comics, storytelling, storyboards, there's always perspective. There's always a camera angle, worm's eye view, bird's eye view, and through that you have to draw things in the proper dimension. And I looked at it, or I trained myself to believe I'm building these really cool sets for all these actors to be walking around in, so I could spare no expense. I can make it as cool as I want, and everything could be fucking awesome. And so I would just go to town. I would just put, earbuds in and just draw my way through everything. And I did that for a good 3, 4, 5 years. I can't even remember, but I kept bouncing from studio to studio. I worked at Top Cow, and then I had the opportunity to work with Mike Turner at a place called Coffin Comics. And then that got me noticed at Wildstorm, and Jim Lee hired me to work there
Wow,
in San Diego. So that was a lot of fun.
that's
And
cool. Jim Lee is
he's
a legend.
yeah, he's legendary. Great guy.
He was at WonderCon.
Yeah, because you were doing a new Batman book, Hush Part 2. And so he was a great guy. All of these people were great. And my biggest takeaway from those experiences was making a point of copying as much as I could. And by that, I mean, I would take these folders, and anytime I could see somebody finishing or working on something, I ask them, can I make a photocopy of that? Can I make a photocopy of that? And some people would be like, you just did this yesterday. I'm like, I know. And then eventually they started seeing that what I was doing was creating a folder of like stages of work. And then would show them, look, this is that thing you showed me the other day. And it was, here's the thumbnail, here's the layout, here's the final pencils, here's the inks. And through that, I'm able to just kind of absorb that and learn as much as I could. It's like being in a karate dojo master, and you're learning some sort of ancient technique that you can only see by practice,
Right.
And so
Interesting.
a lot of that experience was just derived from, my enthusiasm for the thing and the people around me, and really just trying to break that shit down. How did they do that? Why did they do that? I mean, it got so literal where I would sit in the studio with other artists, and we'd nerd out, and we'd be like, who do you think draws the best fire? Who draws better hair, this guy or that guy? And it was like, we got it down to a science where it was like, who draws better trees, who draws better cars, hair, fire, you
Water.
name it, water.
So what's
all
the
that.
hardest element?
Element to draw?
Uh-huh.
I don't know that it's so much the hardest element. I think it's just finding the right mindset, because it's like the Bruce Lee, like it's like be the wata, and it's
Be
like
the wata.
yeah, and so it's like I think absorbing the idea that you don't have to copy it directly, you don't have
The
to
feeling of it.
get the feeling of it. And I think that's the hardest part, is to understand, because there's so many ways to interpret something, right? And it
When
doesn't
you're expressing
yeah.
something in an artificial form. So you
Yeah.
have to like
It's already artificial.
Right.
Just give it a personality. And
Yeah.
give it something that is distinctly or uniquely your voice.
Mhm.
And that alone sometimes will carry it, I remember I was trying to break down with one guy how he did water. And at the time it was just like so perplexing to me. And then moving forward, I looked at it now and I'm like, oh, that's just a bunch of ass squiggly lines. Like, what the hell? That's not that big a deal. And then I realized like it was just a mentality that he had. And so looking at things in that kind of perspective really helps. And I just think having those experiences, all those different studios was fantastic. But it was only when I was at Wildstorm with DC that I realized I was in trouble because
Trouble.
yeah, I was I was amongst a lot of really amazing artists, and they loved the hell out of these characters, and I liked them good. They were great characters, but I don't know. 19-year-old Joel loved those characters. 38, 40-year-old Joel was like, these characters are okay. Like, it's a story for a different audience for me. And it's like, I really truly enjoy the comics medium, but that's why I say like at Wildstorm, I would have in trouble because these guys still just had the full on enthusiasm for these characters. And I was like, oh shit, I'm in trouble because these guys are all in for this stuff. And I'm kind of in,
And
but I'm not all in.
for like the classic characters.
Yeah, they all wanted their
Batman.
stab at drawing Batman or Spider-Man, whoever. They wanted their chance. And I get it. I just didn't have the enthusiasm for that. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that I knew I was in trouble because you can't fake it. You got to go all in on whatever it is you want. You have to be all in because it's going to show up on the page. It's going to show up when whatever you're doing, you can just tell when somebody's really into something,
And having fun.
and having fun, right?
Fun
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
I mean, in films, I think if the crew's
Everything,
having fun,
right?
it shows up.
Yeah.
You know,
You can
whatever it
feel
is.
the energy when
Yep.
someone's really having a good time, and you can't fake it. And I didn't want to. Who wants to do that? And so, yeah, it's a harder road, but I thought I can still do this, but in my own way. And luckily for me, I met up with these guys from Coffin Comics working on this book called La Muerta, and I've been on that book for 10 years, and I love it. But I really enjoy working with the guys I work with. There's another thing that I've come to appreciate really greatly that I hadn't considered before was that, the accrued mileage that we have together, like it starts to compound and it starts to pay out dividends in the way that we've worked together for so long that we know what we like, we know what the other one's strengths and weaknesses are. And so it's almost like being in a band together, and we kind of jam and we know where to fill in for somebody, and we know when to give somebody some room so that they can just go all in on their power chords or whatever, and I can't help but feel like that's important in the creative process. You want to play long-term games with long-term people, and
Yeah.
you want to go all in with people that you want to be with for a long ride, because that's the best way to do it, and that's going to get you the most interest, and it's just gonna show up in the work. People are gonna see the quality of a story and the art, and they're gonna feel it. And you just can't hide it, especially in comics. That it becomes very apparent when something looks derivative, and that's what you want to avoid. I think in this game, much like a lot of stuff in life, it's like you win by outlasting, right? And it's not like you get better than somebody or you one up somebody. No, you just
You're still there.
you're still there doing the thing,
Right.
having fun,
Yeah.
enjoying it, and around people that are in the same mindset. And it's like, you could just tell, you know what I mean? When people are doing something and they're into it.
Can we check it out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Show us some of the stuff.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And but I totally understand. Like, I mean, it must get tiring just drawing Batman and Spider-Man, and not for everybody, but
I think what it
if
is.
you do want to do something else, like
Yeah, well, I think, like, more importantly, I don't know that it's tiring, but when you're not that into it.
yeah,
And that's the worst part.
Right.
Because now that fan base is really into it, and you're not into it, they're going to feel it.
Right.
And for me, that's when I knew, because I was talking to guys who were just like, dude, I can't wait. One day I'm going to draw fill in the blank. I can't wait to get that opportunity. And I was like, yeah. And I'm thinking like, oh shit, like I don't feel like that about any of these characters. They're cool, but those are stories for another time for me, like
Yeah.
from another time. Like
Yeah.
as a younger guy, I love those stories. And, but I didn't know what I wanted. And then, like I said, working at Coffin, I started realizing like, wow, these are cool. These stories are cool. These characters are dark. Their comics felt like a Netflix series, but in a comic book format. And I dug that. And for me, there was cursing, there was some rated R situations, but it wasn't everywhere. It just felt like a comic for older people, like adults. And the other thing I really got a kick out of was the fact that like nobody knew who our shit was. They didn't know who our characters were. And so you had to earn everybody's trust. And it sounds hard and boring, and it was, but when it happened, you savored it so much more when you realized you earned somebody's interest and their ability to go like, I'm gonna back that book every time it comes out. And you're just like, that's awesome. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like the difference between playing for a team and owning a team, or being, working at a restaurant or owning a restaurant. And you feel so much more directly as connected with the output and the effect. Because like it would affect me in a way where I'm drawing a page and I'd be like, hey, like, pay attention, dude. Like, this needs to look cool. Because if it doesn't look cool, people aren't going to like it, and then they're not going to buy it. And it's like, oh shit. And there was like a much more correlated line to like, do a good job, be in it. And it's no better way. It's like, I don't know what it is, man. Being an entrepreneur, and especially like comic book creator, you immediately know right away if you're gonna live or die, because it's like there's no safety net. You either do really well or you do okay, and you get the exponential result of whatever you put into it, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, for
Hey,
sure.
you guys are welcome to flip through this.
Yeah, I would love to.
So these are all pages from La Muerta from
Give your
Coffin
phone.
Comics.
We can
yeah.
record like a,
But
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So we can,
Oh, you know
Show
what's
it.
cool? Look, I'll show you this.
yeah.
So this is how a page starts.
So this is the storyboard.
Yeah, well, it's called a layout or a thumbnail, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's see if this has it. Nope. But anyway, so I do this and I'll send it to the writers, right?
Okay.
And I show them like, here's your word balloons, like where shit needs to be put in for dialogue. But if the reason it looks like this and at this size is that it's more about camera placement and figure control, like where are we placing the figure on the page?
Mm-hmm.
And then they say like, okay, cool, like this shot should be bigger or the camera should be lower here. And so this is basically the genesis of the page. And so, for example, on this page, they approved it right away. And so then I transferred it to this.
Okay, he's transferred
this
this layout.
Yeah, and I blew it up onto an 11x17.
Cool.
And then what I did then is like I tightened up some of the figure construction. This is mostly just for me. And then once I feel comfortable enough with how it looks, I'll then light box that right onto this board. And then
Wow.
I'll light box it and just start inking it and stuff like that.
That's beautiful.
And then I'll leave like a little color note for the colorist, like, hey, give this guy a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. That's cool. So this is from La Muerta?
Yeah, this is from La Muerta, Chapter 11, Nemesis. It's the latest book that they have out. It's on Coffin Launch, which is Coffin Comics' own. They don't even use Kickstarter. They created their own crowdfunding.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's innovative.
Yeah, Brian Polito, man, and Francisca. Brian and Francisca
Cutting out the
Polito.
middleman.
Yeah, they just created their own type of crowdfunding source with one of the people there named Jordan. And Brian and Francisca, they're like the thunder and lightning of indie comics, man.
Really?
They just really find a way to get a direct line to their fan base and consumer, and just they hone in on that and learn what exactly it is that they want. Yeah, like see, that's
This
one of
is-
those little patches.
So this is like, okay, so this is kind of multi-layered.
Yeah. Check it out. So I was one of those situations again where I was like, man, this is coming out great. And then I look at it the next day, I'm like, oh, that looks like shit. And I had to redraw it. So I drew it on a separate piece of paper.
Oh, I see. You
And I glued it on there because I didn't like how his face turned out.
Yeah.
But that's just part of working traditionally, right? So,
right. Because a lot of people do draw digitally.
Right. No, I don't do it.
You don't do that at all.
No, never, ever.
What's your opinion on it? I guess it's
Digital?
not good. Yeah.
Oh, I don't mind it.
You just don't.
It's just for
not,
me.
Not for your
not for me.
process. It's a
Yeah.
preference thing.
I like operating without a
Physical.
net. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it's nice to have. Plus,
There's
people
more
get to buy
higher
the art.
stakes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. People get to buy it.
and in the back you see the layout.
So cool.
So anytime somebody buys their art, my art, they get the layout, they get all three stages of the page,
Fantastic.
right? But yeah, there's something about it's like being a magician, dude. It's like practicing your magic trick and doing it in a way where it's like, can I do this and land it on the page, you know? And I think for me, that's what's really exciting about drawing traditionally. Plus, I get to practice using inking techniques and stuff like that.
Definitely. This is great.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, and so La Muerta, we've been publishing that book since 2015.
This is cool. Nice work on the lights here.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, car driving through the street at night.
and great depth. This kind of wide angle
Yeah, I think it's another patch
lens.
No, this is no patches on this one.
No patches
The blanks are pages I left at home. This is usually filled in
for
with
other stuff.
Yeah, there might be some in there. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, it's ass kicking page.
Mm-hmm.
Is it another patch page? Yeah.
So would you say, like, you know, going to Coffin, working on this, is this your style, or did you adopt a different style?
No, I always had it in that way. And La Muerta was created by Brian Polito and Mike McLean. And when they pitched me the idea, they had a lookbook of the character. And at the time, they were considering it as a feature film script. And so they kind of gave me all the groceries, and I just kind of cooked because they kind of had a look in mind. But they picked me because they thought my style fit the look of the book, which just kind of went hand in hand. So as I kept growing, I kind of developed my own style that fit with the book itself. And I've only ever missed one chapter of the book, so it's been a blast working on and helping develop it. It was awesome, man. Dude, I think right before COVID, La Muerta was optioned by Legendary Pictures.
Was it?
Yeah, and they had a director, and they had
Really?
Yeah, it was Isa Lopez.
It's all packaged.
Isa did season 3 of True Detective.
Oh.
So she had been working on this, and something fell through, and I think COVID just made it even worse. And
Yeah, COVID didn't do.
for so
anything.
that was interesting and exciting for a moment, but it's like the old saying goes, it isn't happening till it's happening, that thing. So I think it was something like that.
But that's interesting because, you know, we wrote Wolf's Edge as a screenplay.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know,
What made you
found
want
a way
to
to
turn
make
it into a comic?
well, I mean, it's a visual, screenplay is visual.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We were able to, we kind of had a lot of talks to get it packaged and financed as a film, but we found a much easier pathway to get it as a graphic novel.
Really?
So
How did you pull the trigger? Like, how did you decide, hey, let's just do it. Let's make it a graphic novel?
well, for years I've been kicking. I mean, I have a bunch of scripts and stories, and I've always, been a fan of, not like super hardcore, but I've grown up reading comics
Yeah,
and graphic
yeah,
novels, and I've
yeah.
always loved the medium.
Yeah.
And I have many scripts that I was thinking, man, like I would love to make this into a series, comic series or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
because I can see it in my head,
Sure. Sure.
and I think it's like, it's a question of identity. It's like, am I just a filmmaker or am I a storyteller?
Interesting.
Am I
Yeah.
am I a writer of only one medium, or so in the past couple of years I've been really branching out and like
That's
just kind of
cool.
owning, like, well, I want to tell stories.
Yeah.
I might, it's very difficult to get a film put together.
Yeah. I bet.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's really expensive.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that need to get involved.
Yeah.
There's a lot of politics.
Yeah.
I mean,
Unfortunately.
the great thing about this is that we were able to get, small kind of seed investor on board quickly, who's been a fan of the project for years. And then, sorry, let me turn
Sure.
silencer on. I'm Bat.
And we got lucky because of Arthur, the Hungarian artist.
Yeah.
How did
Because he read the book and he knew the script that we wrote 2 years ago.
the artist?
Right. We lucked
Wait,
out.
How did you find him? Like, how did you go? Like, because it could have gone anyway. It could have been like, yeah, I'm happy you're liking this, but what if his style didn't fit? Like, how did you know?
So Sky kept me bugging about like he was asking me about like how do we find a comic artist? And I'm like, I have no idea about comic artists. Like I never been like involved in it.
Yeah.
So I'm working on a crime series, and I have this genius painter girl who can paint anything basically. She's working in big films like A-list films in Hungary because we are making like quite cool movies over there, and she said that there is this guy called Arthur, and she knows him long ago, and here's his phone number, and let's try. And I just called him, and he said, okay, he will read the script, and he just
Yeah.
happened 6 months.
Really? Have you guys met face to face before? You have?
You have.
I mean, I have, but not many times. We actually made a deal without meeting in person.
So when you finally did meet, was it like 4 months, 5 months into working together already, or?
1, 2, like it was. In the
Okay.
beginning.
So what was that like? Was it weird meeting him for the first
Very
time? Yeah. How come? Like, why? What was the deal?
And there were many other people like that because they had a little crew like that.
He did or you did?
He did a he did
Oh.
he has a little like community, and he's always like asking them like how they can help him, and they all read the script and they all like this concept. So
Oh, that's super cool. Wow, that's amazing. So he works digitally, right?
yeah,
Does-
and
and-
we could look at it like live.
Wow. So does he color it as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So he does pencil, or I mean, not pencil inks, colors, but he does the full process digitally.
Mhm.
Wow, that's amazing. So when you're working with the guy and you give him the scripts, do you get layouts?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you go, hey, this panel's too big, or move him over here, and stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
Um,
More it was, what if we did this? I mean, I would draw something like, what if we did this, and then send it to them, and they would be ignored, and then something way better, but that accomplished what
same
I was,
thing.
what I wanted.
I don't think it was ignored. It was probably processed. Because, I mean, they figured out what you wanted by you giving them that. you
Yeah.
know, So
but then
that's good.
they would come back with something way cooler.
That's good.
So,
Yeah, that's really good.
but I think, you know, our script is very simple,
Right.
but it's very specific.
So tell me this, was it a challenge turning your screenplay into a comic book script?
No.
No, they asked us to do that.
We kept it.
Then they read it and they said that this is it.
Yeah.
And we were like, we don't know how a comic book
Right.
looks like, but
Well, because like sometimes I'll have a page that'll have, I don't know, 4 panels. And then sometimes I'll have a page that'll have 7 panels.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So who made those decisions?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you
They-
you guys ever kick something back saying
yeah,
like that
for
should
sure.
be fewer
They-
panels or more?
Exactly. So they were able to break down our script. I mean, you can read our script with the visuals.
Yeah, yeah.
And
that's cool.
and we were constantly surprised, like, wow, they really got the details. Like, you know, we wrote that thing in the corner and it's right there.
You guys get so lucky.
Yeah,
I'm telling
super
you,
lucky.
you're so lucky.
Super lucky.
You rarely hear that in
Yeah.
comics.
But I would say, like, my biggest notes were like, okay, cinematically, this is like a bigger moment. So we need to like
Interesting.
flesh this out.
Okay, that's
Like,
cool.
Like it's going too fast.
Do you ever
It's
say
happening
like
too fast in the comic when you just like slow
Slow
it
it
down a
down.
little bit, and there'll be a discussion, you know, because it is a different medium,
yeah, yeah,
and we had to learn, you know, some of the
language?
differences in language
yeah,
of
yeah.
the comic medium, but there's enough overlap
Do you ever say, "Hey, this should be a full-on page. This should be a splash page,
for sure.
or this should be a double-page spread"?
Yeah, or vice versa.
Nice.
Or our tour comes back and says we can do this as a splash. You know,
That's good.
You know,
That's good.
and yeah, so it was it's been very easy, like, you know, very good back and forth. Any back and forth results in something much
Yeah,
better,
yeah.
and there's been really no negativity at all. And our tour's been amazing because, I mean, he definitely caught the passion and the flame of the story.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
he's
good.
adding pages.
Oh, wow,
constantly.
that's cool.
I mean, our issue 3 has gone from, even issue 2 was supposed to be like 20. Well, yeah, I guess 24. It's now 36.
interesting.
Issue 3 was supposed to be also 24. It's now 44.
How do you guys feel about that?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're not conventional issue sizes, but
No.
it doesn't matter.
Right.
Seeing it?
Which one?
Oh yeah, we have a sample of issue 3 is a work in progress.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
We have a
I
little
haven't seen
printout.
it. I haven't seen it.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I want you to flip through it.
Okay, so tell me this. So when there's becomes more of an additional thing going on to the pages,
Yeah.
is it is there stuff added, or is it just that your story's being spread out?
Well, to be honest, I always thought we need to have 4 24-page pieces.
Sure.
Now, the initial discussion was from the artist or the illustrating team was we can do this in 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was always kind of like I don't know about that, but
yeah.
we'll go with it.
Right.
So we've gotten longer. We've even gotten
Yeah.
longer than 424s. It's now going to
Oh,
be
wow.
like 110 pages in total, or something like that.
That's still though, man. That's going to be a cool compendium or like a full graphic novel.
100%. Yeah, we'll do that
That's
trade
gonna be really
eventually.
cool, man.
And yeah, it's gonna be super cool. But the thing is, Artur wants it to be, he's taking ownership over this thing in a way that is really nice to see, like the fire spread.
How long has he been working on it now? Like 8 months?
Oh yeah, about
8 months.
I think.
What happens?
It's been cool, and I'm hoping. I mean, I just haven't been able to get over there. But I'm hoping to go meet him at some point in person because we talked a lot.
Cool. Yeah.
Did we lose issue 3?
Yeah, but we had it yesterday.
It's around.
Is it in this? No, it's not in this.
Could be.
I don't think so.
But you also had one.
I gave it away to Jake.
Really?
You can't trust me with anything. I gave it to my friend, but he deserved it. I
That's
shouldn't
cool.
be doing that, but
So when is issue 3 going to be done?
probably another month.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, because we launched our Kickstarter a week ago,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and our tour's barreling through to the end.
Here we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, wow, man. You guys even made like a little ash can.
And that's our ash can.
Shit.
A word we learned 2 weeks ago.
This is really cool. Oh, I see.
We're newbies.
Right, of course. This is
So when you look at something like this, what do you see? Like, what is he good at? Like, what stands out for you?
Well, overall, I mean, when I first saw the first 2 issues that I was looking through, helping me get ideas for the layouts and stuff, it just felt really cinematic, and it felt lush because the colors were really very particular. It wasn't colorful, so it wasn't like Skittles, all the colors of the rainbow. It was very particular, so it had a certain palette throughout the pages. It had a nice kind of like flow, which I think is harder to do than to just throw a bunch of colors around. And for him to be so selective about what he chose was really neat. And again, the approach, the palette was limited, which was great, but then the way he used the colors reminded me of this movie poster artist. And so I was like, wow, that's a pretty good combo. And I felt like there's something deliberate happening here. He's picking these things in a certain way. And I think it added to the overall effect of the story. There's like some sequence with lightning and this plane's about to get hit. And there's like this, like a wolf's head was also in the shot. And so all of it really played up really well and added to the feeling that you're getting the danger, the ominous thing that's about to happen, And I just thought it really made it really cool. And the first 2 issues, they seemed, like I said, very cinematic, but it wasn't exploratory, because sometimes people can feel one way and then by the second issue they're like, now I'm into this and it's going to look like this. And so I never felt like that. It felt very cohesive. It felt like a really well done, a professional person with a good eye for stuff was doing it. Yeah, and I was curious because I thought, wait, is he coloring it too? Is he pencil inking coloring it? And I knew it was digital, but then I started breaking it down into the technical aspects of like, well, how is this done? Because I was trying to figure it out myself. But overall, I like the art style. I think it complements the story really well. There's something like visceral, kind of organic to the lines, the line quality of the art and everything that I really like. And it doesn't feel clean and neat, which I think works great given the premise of the story, and so it's got a lot of energy. It's very kinetic. Yeah, I think I like
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
That's cool.
So it seems like he is enjoying it.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah, no. Yeah, you could, again, it goes back to the thing. You can tell when somebody's really enjoying it, when he's definitely enjoying this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool. I like it a lot. I haven't seen this one, so excuse me, I'm like
No, please.
enjoying it and
look.
spacing out on
Yeah.
it. So tell me, where did the idea for this come from? Where did the idea of Wolf's Edge start?
It started so like the original iteration was like it started like 15 years ago.
Wow.
At film school, I made these shorts with my little cousin called The Adventures of Sam Wolf, which is the fictional story within that. The dad is a writer of The Adventures of Sam Wolf's book series. This like in Wolf's Edge, it's like a very like global best-selling book. And yeah, so my cousin and I made these little short pieces over many years, and then we kind of ended them after 5 or 6 shorts over 10 years.
Okay.
And he kind of grows up in them. And a couple of years ago, I also wrote hundreds of pages of stuff, different scripts, short stories, long stories, sketches. I mean, I have notebooks full of Sam Wolf stories. And about 2 years ago, Gabor came and I wanted to reinvent it and, somehow revisit Sam Wolf, but in a new way. So we flipped it inside out, kind of made it meta, took the fantasy stuff out, put it in a book within the book, and created new characters. Richard, the author, and his son, Isaac, who sort of uses the Sam Wolf lore, the book, as a spiritual guide.
Oh, interesting.
When he crashes on this island.
Oh, wow.
And there's some comedy in there. Like Wanda is the studio executive who wants to like buy the IP from the dad.
Right.
And in some way, like the son, when he crashes, reads the dad's book for the first time because he hasn't read his own dad's book. He sort of starts to become like a twisted version of his father's IP.
Right.
So
that's what's interesting. From the 2 issues that I read, I kind of felt like that was where it might have been going. The last thing I saw was he encounters his dad for the first time on the island, and he has like a friend, pig feast.
Feast. Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. And but I got the sense of the parallels, and to me that was really compelling. Was the idea of that, especially, well, because I was going to do a variant cover, so I was thinking like, oh, I mean, we were considering the agent, or the literary, or the person who bought the book or the rights to everything, and we're talking about that as a cover, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, yeah. And then as I read the 2 issues, I was like, yeah, but this is way cooler. I was like, oh, this is way cooler, because I was thinking like if I wasn't being introduced to this world and these stories, I was like, sure, literary agent or whatever. She's not a literary agent. What is she?
She's a movie mogul.
A movie mogul.
The owner of Dream Corp Studios.
Yeah, so this mogul, I was like, that's cool. But if I had seen this character, I'm like, that's badass. What is that? I want to read that. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. I just immediately like gravitated towards the idea of this imagery.
But that's great. That's a good example of like you coming from the outside.
Right.
Us internally, we're like, we should have a cover of Wanda. But like
I don't have the relationship in my mind that you guys have with the character. Whereas, like you said, from the outside, I immediately grabbed to the thing that compelled me the most. And I don't know, this feral little boy with running around with wolves was immediately the thing in my mind. And I thought, there's got to be a way to obscure this character's face and make him almost like just an idea, or I don't know, just something that he isn't our main character Isaac, but he is. This is maybe something he's going to turn into, like almost like an avatar of who he's going to become. And I don't know. I just started exploring that idea because I was like, that'd be really badass to keep it mysterious. Dramatic lighting, maybe you don't completely see the kid's face, and draw someone's interest in. It's like, who is this little kid running around with these fucking giant animals? Like, what is this? What is this about? And so that's what I was trying to capture. So I thought that would be kind of cool. But
for sure.
And I mean, that's got to feel great though, because I mean, as you guys, the writers, creators of this thing, to have somebody, derive that from your idea, you're like, oh, cool. That's,
Oh yeah,
all right, cool.
this whole thing has been cool. Like
Yeah,
writing the page, the words, having it in my head,
yeah,
and then having like amazing artists interpret it, adapt it, like and make it their own has been a gift. Like, and I'm really excited to see what you come up with.
I'm excited about it too. I think that's the coolest thing about comics for me is the collaborative aspect, which you guys are starting to feel in its full weight, because you put something down and you let somebody else pick it up, and then you see what they do with that. And for you, that experience was like twofold, where you're working with other creatives and getting to see how they respond to it. But now on top of that, you're sharing it with people who are reading it or experiencing it for the first time. They aren't creative; they're just enjoying the story or the concept, and you're seeing how they respond to it. And so that's got to be pretty rewarding for you guys to have and see that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because you put a lot of work into this stuff, and it's like, I know for sure because I'll sit at my desk for 8 to 10 hours a day, 3, 4, 5 days a week, and then finally show somebody this piece of paper that I've like hammered together and scratched up, and everybody's like, "Yeah, it's all right," and you're like, "Oh." You want to feel the satisfaction of somebody going like, "Wow, this is amazing," and so that's the beauty of it, right? That's what we're all
For sure.
putting the work in for, and
Yeah.
that's where I say this is a really cool product, and to have people see the finished thing and the collaborative aspect of it, where it's nuts. This thing is put together like a team that's worked together for years, and the art looks great, and the writing just works really well, and it's like, wow, this is a first time book. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So I don't know.
Well, I would say, I mean, Gabor and I have worked together for many years,
Right.
so that
That's
helps.
cool. Yeah.
I mean, and our tour, it feels like I've been working with him for years, even though I've never physically met him.
Well, that's the trippiest part, is that it feels like one big unit, and
Yeah.
it's like, it's amazing. You guys pulled off a really nice thing, and it looks beautiful. And I think, if anything, it should be an encouragement to fulfill the whole thing through, and even go past that. Like, well, would I do this after this? Um, Wanting to do this stuff and having a knack for it are two different things, right? I've been in this industry long enough to see a lot of situations just not pan out. Sometimes it's hard because you may have the enthusiasm for something, but maybe you don't have strong ideas, or maybe you have strong ideas but you don't have the energy to connect with others. And because it's a social thing, you want to be able to connect with people and find a way to get this in their hands. And it's very rare to have someone have all three things working, all pistons firing, and this kind of feels like it potentially has that opportunity, to take advantage. I think it's really cool. It's
Yeah,
really cool.
no, we're having fun, and I think screenplays are very, like, structure is very important.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like stripping down all the fat and like what is the essence of your story,
yeah.
and it lended itself pretty well to like the idea of issues.
Mm.
So that
So
helped.
given the book and the lengths of each chapter being, unique,
Yeah,
does it change the end of your story, the how it happens, or is it all the same?
it's all the same.
Okay.
I mean, if we did revise the end in the process, but that was, I mean, it's been like sort of a rehearsal, or like pretty epic rehearsal.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, I mean, you write the script, you rewrite the script, you revise it, you get notes, but now we're seeing the script. Okay,
Yeah.
we're seeing the characters, we're seeing the sequences,
Yeah.
and along that process, it's like it's another rewrite,
Mm-hmm.
and it has stayed pretty much the same.
That's
We
amazing.
we we added a little thing at the very end, but not necessarily because of the adaptation, but just because it's a better part of the story.
Hmm.
Makes the story better. It's a better, more fulfilling ending. So, but yeah, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, it's always like we learned a lot from this while we were doing it.
Yeah.
And so we could workshop it even more, after all these scenes, looking at the actual scenes, like how they look at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the whole
Oh yeah. I mean, and when we're ultimately able to make it into a film, I think we've been able to really live with the characters,
Yeah.
and then thanks to the artists, like see the characters just really marinate in
Yeah.
this story so that eventually when we are on set, we're going to have this stuff to show actors, to show the crew, the set design, like
Yeah.
it's all going to inform every level of production.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's almost like a storyboard book. It's like a production book. It's like a style guide. It's like all of it, and all in one.
And something that an audience can enjoy.
Yeah,
It's not just a private internal document.
that's pretty cool when you think of it that way.
Mhm.
Um.
And I want to do more.
So, what do you mean, like another story?
Sure. I mean, we're writing volume 2.
Wait a minute. So, is this an ongoing story?
This is
Really?
this has an ending that is both closes the theme
Mm-hmm.
and also can continue. So we're right now exploring a new theme,
A new arc.
a new arc, and a new thematic story for the follow up.
So, with that in mind, is there anything that you've experienced through this process that is now, I don't know, helping the development of the next thing you have in mind? You guys have in mind? Does your experience in this first book and seeing what it took to get it made, does it make you go, oh, okay, this is going to influence how I tackle the next chapter?
Oh, we will. I think we are both in a shock right now. So it's like we need to get to the end and have the last like changes in order to like digest what just happened to us.
How crazy though, because then you have like this physical thing, this manifestation of what can drive you forward, right? So like this book and what it turns into, well, you'll go as you're working on the second one, you'll be able to flip through this first one and go like, oh no, we don't need that because we're already, you know what I mean? It's like you actually are literally have it in your hands, That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it helps us visually.
Yeah.
Like, now when I think of the characters, it's less abstract.
Right. It's physical. It's right here. You got versions of
I'm
it.
now thinking of the characters as drawn like this.
Yeah.
So, and if we eventually have actors, it will evolve again.
Of course.
But
right.
but for now, it is in some ways helpful to think of new stories with these with the visual palette a little more firm.
Yeah. Who would you say is like, who's this book for? People who like fill in the blank will like Wolf's Edge.
Yeah.
Who would that be?
So there's very strong like young adult stuff, but it's a thriller.
Okay.
So it's on the harder end of that.
Okay.
Especially issue 3 gets into some pretty intense places.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think if you like survival adventure, survival thriller,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I think stories like Castaway, but there's also like some hook in there.
Oh, interesting.
And he's really, I mean,
Lord of the
Flies.
I was going to say that. I can see that.
That's a major influence, especially that original, the book, but also that original film by
Peter Brook.
Peter Brook.
Have you seen that film?
No.
Was it 63 or 58 or something?
62 or
62. It's incredible.
Really?
The original one is just a masterpiece.
Who was the director?
Peter Brook.
Peter Brook? No,
Yeah,
I got to
he
look
came
that
out of
up.
theater. He was a theater director, and he got these boys on this island, and it's really like raw. It's super cool.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
beautiful film.
Okay. I got to check that out.
Yeah, I mean they, like it was a different time. So
Sure. Yeah, of course.
things wouldn't fly these days. But
Right.
the boys they kill a pig on the island and they eat it. They cook it and they eat it and they cook it over these coals. And I mean they filmed the whole thing, but Peter Brook just directed the kids just
Doing it.
eat it.
Oh,
And the
wow.
kids are just ripping it apart and it's real.
That's wild.
So there's
That's
some
pretty wild.
real authenticity to that movie,
Oh, wow. That's
Mhm.
pretty crazy.
and that's just such a classic literary tale.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
So who would you say? Okay, for our main character here, Isaac, right?
Isaac.
So who would you have imagined when you were seeing Isaac and you were telling, or in your head when you're seeing Isaac and you're talking to your artist, Arthur,
Yeah, Arthur.
and you go, hey Arthur, he's gonna look like, who's he gonna look like?
Well, that's a funny question, or it's a good question because
Because in your
it
head
took a
you
while.
you had to have somebody in your head when you were writing him, like somebody you imagined your character looking like it, right?
Yeah, I think I had different ideas. I mean,
So it was like evolving.
well, okay, so the character he turns 18 on the first issue in the
Right,
first page,
right.
right? He's turning 18. It's a difficult age to draw, I think.
Sure.
Maybe you have experience.
That's a really good point.
right.
Yeah, that
'Cause he's
is.
still
He's not really a man.
He's not
but
a
he's
man,
not
but
kid.
there's still baby fat,
Right.
but he's coming out of it.
Yeah.
and it
Yeah,
took
that's
us
a
a
good point.
while to get to find the look,
I
and
can imagine.
it was a dialogue with Artur, and because I felt like the really annoying notes guy
Sure.
for a while,
Sure.
because I was like, he looks too old.
Right.
Now he looks too young.
Yeah.
It's still too old.
Yeah.
It was. I felt bad for a while because it's as you know,
I've gone through that.
these kind of revisions are not fun. I mean, I can't imagine they are.
Plus, it's the
It's a lot of
beginning of
work.
your relationship.
It's the
your
beginning.
work relationship, and you're like, oh man,
we-
I'm that guy right now.
And I was like, we have to get the protagonist's face right,
Yeah.
and even the father. Like,
Yeah.
we have to get these right. And if we can get through this,
Yeah.
the rest of it will be a lot better. So we pushed through, and I mean, there was never like hostility. It was just,
Sure.
it's a lot of work for Artur.
Sure.
Like, he's hand drawing this stuff. So
So
I
these are
appreciated
character
that.
sketches
Yeah, I mean, but his
see a couple of
but his-
sketches there.
in the back.
his character sketches were pretty far. I mean, he goes above and beyond, gets a lot of work done.
Yeah.
We were really impatient about the emotions,
Yeah.
like that everyone was telling us, like, oh, that's the last thing that will happen to the comic.
So
That-
unpack that.
The emotions on each face,
The expressive. You want it to be expressive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that was really hard.
Is that
For the rest?
something that you? So what you're trying to say is, like,
the end.
emotions are added at the end. Is that common?
You mean on the drawing of a page or in the development of a character? Like, what do you mean?
On a page.
I think for me, I mean, it varies. Everyone's
Depends.
different. Yeah. For me, given the type of books I draw, there are a few emotional type of moments, and I think getting the expressions is important. It's all about the acting and the attitude of the character that you're trying to help sell the idea, the story, and it's always I'm a stickler for that stuff. Like I like seeing faces. I like to see nice faces, right?
Yeah.
Having a nice face on a page is just, I don't know, man. We fucking spend all day looking at people's faces when we talk to others, and so it's
Right.
like, it's just the way it is. And so I've always been a stickler for that. So then adding expression to that is just extra, and the better you are at it, the easier the page gets. But it's not easy. It's hard getting a nice expression, especially like with women, giving them an angry or expressive face that isn't too wrinkly and still have them look attractive. These are tricks of the trade. Little kids, having them be expressive but not silly. Those are challenging, and to really get the emotion across. But I think this guy he does it in spades. Arthur does it in Wolf's Edge. Several sequences in the second issue, they really showcase expressive faces. There's a shot in issue 2. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, oh yeah, it's like a nose up, right? A blue,
Near the
blue
end.
background, or it's just a blue color, right?
Right.
And it's just like you don't even see the mouth, and it's just like really, just you get the emotion of the expression, and I thought that's really cool because, again, that just speaks to me. I like that kind of stuff. Where is it? But yeah, he does it really well, and I really enjoy Arthur's work in this book.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, he's gonna watch this, so we do need to get Artur on the podcast.
How would you do that? Would you guys do like
We're
a
gonna figure it out.
StreamYard?
Yeah, I mean, I like to do it in person. I guess we could do Zoom or something, but I like to be in the space with someone.
Where would you? Because you're going to be back in Texas soon, right?
I will.
Would you have him come out to
We would
Texas?
get Arthur to Texas too.
We're gonna we may just bring Artur out to Texas.
Oh, this one! Look at this. This is really cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of my
Oh, yeah.
favorites.
That's actually issue 1, but
Oh, that's the one you were referring
yeah.
to. Oh yeah. That's the
just-
first shot of Isaac.
That's just so cool.
Yeah.
man.
That's yeah.
That's the stuff I responded to, and all the allegory of the wolves.
And that's a mirror shot. This is meant to be a mirror.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, Artur.
I thought it's funny that his dad gave him a book, his book for his birthday.
Right.
I was like, nice. I think.
Yeah, the dad has quite a ways to go.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, overall, I mean,
Yeah.
I find it really interesting, appealing. I like where it's going. The art style is really cool. It's very visceral. Like I said, the story, it's compelling, and more importantly, like the thing that I enjoy most about it is that I don't know, it's uniquely what you guys have made it into. It isn't like a superhero knockoff story. There seems to be some serious character development in it. You always get a strong sense of seeing a 180 pivot from where we start, just based like on any movie or whatever. And the strong build-up or setup in the beginning of issue 1 really like had me going, oh, cool. Okay, I can see where this is going to go. I'm excited to see how this turns out.
That's
you
good.
know.
I'm glad.
So
Yeah, issue 1's, issue 1 isn't all on the exotic locales, but
you have to build that
a
up.
lot of story. Yeah, and sometimes you get the note like, we want to get to the island by page 8, and it's like, it's
Well-
too soon. I mean, for this story,
Yeah, I think again,
there is some serious character stuff that we're setting up.
I just think the ending is always a 180 from the beginning for me, and the best things are, and like I don't know, in a romance movie, there's two people who hate each other. Usually by the end, they're going to be together, right? And in the story, it's a 180 from the urban setting that we have at the very beginning. So even though people may feel it's drawn out, I get it. Given the length of the book and how long it's going to be, it's going to be such a departure. So it's good to have that set up early because the rest of the book isn't going to be in those places.
Yeah.
And that's what's unique about it to me. And I just like the cool idea of the island setting. I think it makes for some interesting art. And I'm excited to see the character develop given his background.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
All right. So what's next for you? Are you
I'm currently working, or I should start working on a book called Lady Gunfighter.
Lady Gunfighter?
Yeah, so Lady Gunfighter is another book from Coffin Comics. So I bounce between a book called La Muerta and another book called Lady Gunfighter.
What's the general story?
General story? Eliza, let's see. We got she's this trick shot in the 1800s. And her name is Eliza Kane, and I think it's 1860. We had one 98-page graphic novel that I wrapped up, parts 1 and 2 of her origin story. So this third chapter is kind of a continuation of a story that was wrapping up at the end of her origin story.
This is the third graphic novel.
Yeah, this will be
series.
this particular issue is 48 pages in length.
Cool.
And it's really cool. It's kind of a reluctant hero, but it's a very dangerous Old West. I don't know if you ever watched the show American Primeval on Netflix.
I tried.
It's really kind of
failed?
dark.
I failed.
Yeah, it's a really dark Western, kind of edgy, but
Nice.
it's basically that kind of a premise, really dark setup, edgy Western type of thing. Eliza Kane trick shot, but it's cool. My favorite thing about these characters from Coffin is that, at least the characters I work on, they seem to be a character that speaks to people. And for me, what I mean by that is that when I draw La Muerta in the stories that I work on it, I'm imagining people reading it, and especially women reading it, wanting to feel like this character, to be like this character. And so I try my best to portray her in a way that's always really cool or badass. I don't lean into the sexy aspect of it too much, because there's an era of comics that was called Bad Girl Comics, where it was this really, and Coffin Comics has a character named Lady Death, and she's kind of been known as a bad girl character, right? But interestingly enough, the same publisher created these other two characters, which is La Muerta and Lady Gunfighter, and they're the opposite of that. They're very strong, powerful women, that just they take no shit from anybody, and they're really empowering. They're really cool, and I like to lean into that a lot because I find anytime I meet fans or people who read the book, they'll mention that, like, "Hey, I really like that you draw this character a certain way. Like, she's actually got an attitude. She's kind of a badass, and you don't really lean into the sexy stuff." And I say, "Thank you so much," because
Mm-hmm.
the sexy stuff, it's cool. It's drawing attractive ladies can be hard, but I think it's also even maybe harder to make a character appealing without doing that.
Right. That like
Uh,
fine line where it's like, okay, she's good looking, but
Yeah.
also it's not like
She's a
erotic.
badass.
Yeah.
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 You want the people reading it to want to be the character,
Mhm.
and I think there's like a male fantasy thing in a lot of these comics in the old days where all the guys, young boys would want to feel like these characters. I want to be like Wolverine, or I want to be
Sure.
like Deadpool. And I think there's a little of that in anything we read. We always want to put ourselves in the shoes of whatever character it is. And
100%.
I don't know. I think that's kind of what I've been doing. And so Lady Gunfighter's where I'm at.
I love that. And I want to get a copy. So
Oh,
do you
yeah, I should probably- I should
recommend
about you one.
starting at number 1?
Yeah, just Lady Gunfighter. I think it's Lady Gunfighter Desolation is the first issue.
Yeah.
It came out last year. Part 2 is coming out in June.
And where are they?
Those you can get at Coffin Comics, or I'm saying LadyDeathStore.com, and it's a part of Coffin Comics lineup. They sell all their books online.
Okay.
But part 2 will be out in June, and that will be on Coffin Launch, again, their own crowdfunding platform.
It's kind of interesting that they started their own crowdfunding. I mean, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because people even say Kickstarter is kicking out the middleman,
Yeah.
but they're also a middleman.
Yeah, exactly.
They take about almost 10%.
Yeah, so there's a percentage that they get. And, I think with the way Brian and Francisca have developed the Coffin brand, and they're really connected with their fans. They have a
Yeah.
YouTube channel, and plus they have a massive mailing list. And
If you have the fans, you can probably pull it off, I guess.
Yeah, and I think they've done a good job of knowing what people want and packaging it up in a way that they really get excited about it. But again, I think having a fantastic mailing list is huge because they have all these people they can directly connect with.
Yeah, that's super valuable.
So, and it's a neat thing because if you think about it, like, shit, man, it's no secret. It's like, it's simple but not easy, right? So it's like all you have to do is build up the fan base, and you could do it too. But in that is the trick, right? It's like, how do you build up the fan base? You have to like create the product or the content that people really enjoy, and it goes back to that thing I keep harping on, which is like, what am I really good at, and what will people buy from me? And so it's like, if there's a way to connect and find that sweet spot, that's how you're going to build your fan base. And
Right.
it's for me as an artist, it's neat. It's like doing the kind of stuff that I post online is almost like a comedian practicing his jokes at a small stand-up comedy shop, right? And so it gives me the idea whether something's going to work or not, and then I can put all of those things together and create like an art book or something based off of the feedback I get.
Yeah.
And as a publisher, as a creator of comics, it's the same thing. You put something out there into the universe, see how people respond to it, and then based on that, you pivot a little bit and change, adjust, what you were doing, and you proceed to do it again. And you just have to make sure you're really into it. You love doing it, because I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to nourish you through those like long moments of, between the highs and the lows. The lows are always going to be a little long, but if you can withstand it and keep going, it makes success that much more sweeter, because again, all you have to do is outlast everyone, and
Right.
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, part of this project is just persistence. I mean, it's
Yeah.
been a long time. You got involved in the project like 10 years ago.
So tell me this: so when you're not working on Wolf's Edge, what are you guys working on?
A variety of things. Gabor, you want to go?
Yeah, I have a documentary with Netflix, directed by Rory Kennedy,
Oh wow,
about the strongest female chess player of all time.
really? That's amazing. How long have you been working on that?
6, 7 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, Gabor nurtured this amazing story. These sisters from Budapest who
Yeah, it's incredible.
are trained by their father.
Oh wow.
Like they weren't even in normal schooling. It was all about chess. Yeah, and
How did you find, or how did you come across this whole thing?
I started playing chess because of another series that I was working on, and I was looking for a story especially for chess,
Oh wow.
and that's what I found.
yeah,
It's like the real life Queen's Gambit, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I wondered if it was anything associated in that kind of realm.
yeah. So Gabor nurtured this thing for many years and was able to attach Rory Kennedy and Netflix. So
How long are you, or when will your documentary be done?
In autumn, it's out on Netflix.
Oh wow. So are you excited to finally see it come to the light of day?
Very much.
That's a long stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, much like this book, you said 10 years you guys have been working on this?
well, this book in particular, this story, like 2 years, but
Yeah.
the wider world and mythology.
Oh, right. The thing we're going to be seeing more of in the future, right?
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
we're working on multiple layers of the stories. Like the dad's book within this, we're also working on that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's super
but-
cool.
But and then I made a documentary feature.
What is that
Funny,
about?
we both kind of come out of fiction, but went into documentary.
Yeah.
That's on Prime and Apple.
It's out already?
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called American Gadfly.
I think I actually heard about that.
GADFLY.
What is it about?
It's about these 4 high school kids who run a presidential campaign for a 90-year-old man named Mike Gravel, who was a former senator like during the Vietnam War era.
Yeah.
And he like read the Pentagon Papers. So Daniel Ellsberg leaked the Pentagon Papers, which were like these documents from the Defense Department that told this story of how the United States got involved in the Vietnam War, and it was contrary to the public statements
Holy
by the
cow.
government. So going back to Eisenhower, and it told this very damning story of that exposed lies, and
Right.
even like a lie on the premise of why we're in Vietnam.
How did you come across this thing?
So yeah, Mike, he ran for president in 2008 in the Democrat side, and he was sort of one of the gadfly candidates. Like a gadfly is a person who speaks truth to power,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like a fly, horrible fly biting you, biting people in power.
Right.
So, and he went up there and said a lot of things that a lot of people think afraid to say,
Right.
and questioning at the time the Iraq War was going on,
Yeah.
and that's when I was in high school. And
Well, I was going to say, like, how would you have known, like, hey, this is something I'm really interested in?
because like in high school I started getting involved in, not involved, but like more knowledgeable about the political landscape, and like the Iraq War, I started paying attention and learning the history, and
wow.
George Bush was, and I have my group of friends in high school, like they were pretty, I guess, informed, or like
That's
everyone
amazing.
we were all debating
Sure.
in homeroom and stuff like that. I don't know why, we were weird, but
I was drinking beer and like hanging
That's
out with girls
less
and
weird.
smoking cigarettes, and
I know.
I was worried about anything political.
I
So
know.
that's
We
amazing.
were
Good for you.
nerds. And I didn't even drink until like senior year.
Oh wow.
I know. But yeah, but I watched the Democratic primary debates, and Mike Gravel was like this kind of older guy, and he was just like talking about the military industrial complex.
So wait,
and
so did you know then, like, oh shit, this is interesting,
Well,
and
I was
I want to
like,
do something with
who
it?
is this guy?
Right.
He was like talking about how the Democrats could right now end the war in Iraq, and they were saying that they want to end it, but they were, he was just questioning the tactics and
Yeah.
calling out corruption and stuff like that. And as a high school kid, I was like, oh, that guy's like a total renegade
Yeah.
there and
Yeah.
cool. And then I learned about his history,
Right.
about like that he was actually kind of a legendary senator who, you know, he ended the draft. He sued Nixon. Like he really fought every day to like end the Vietnam War, and then he saved Ellsberg
Oh,
by
wow.
submitting the Pentagon Papers into the public record
Oh, wow.
through like weird Senate rules. He was like an expert at like finding some obscure rule that allowed him to do something or to stop something. And yeah, anyways, really nice guy. So I met him.
What was that like?
Really cool.
We met him together.
Oh yeah, we met him together.
Oh, you
That's
did?
right.
By accident.
I know.
Well, I happened to be.
You were there.
You were
yeah.
just there?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That was in like
He needed another guy who was like recording, and I was like, let's go.
I
Oh,
found
that's
his note. I
cool.
was able to get in touch with him, and I made up some excuse to go interview him in 2015. And so we went to his apartment in, I forget it's right outside of San Francisco, and his wife Whitney made us sandwiches, and we did this
How
little
funny.
interview of him, and he was super nice. I was very nervous, but he was just amazingly,
So how old
Time.
were you guys at this time?
yeah. So I was 24, something like that.
So was that weird, like to see, or you figure this older man, like I mean, like I don't know, he could have been like, "What do you punks want?" Or I don't know, like.
I mean, I guess I was kind of intimidated because all I knew him was from clips on the internet where he's
Right.
yelling at other people.
Sure.
So I'm like, is he gonna yell at me?
He was a super.
No.
Super.
Yeah, one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
That's pretty cool.
So then years later,
yeah.
in 2019, I read in the Rolling Stones magazine that high school kids have taken over Mike Gravel's Twitter, and I looked at his Twitter and it was like really spicy tweets, like kind of controversial, and I was like, oh my god, what's happening? And so I was trying to get something going anyways for a documentary project, and so I switched all those efforts and called Senator again. I said, you may not remember me, but I'd like to do a documentary on what's happening, because they were starting to make news, and
Yeah.
it seemed like a fun political, like high school kids, and Mike, and he was turning 90, and so yeah, we went into production on that and filmed.
This is 2015.
So I met him in 2015, but the documentary started in 2019,
Wow.
and we shot for about a year and a half, 2 years with the kids, and they're not kids anymore.
Right.
Really genius, really brilliant kids. And and then we sold it. It's on Apple, Amazon, Tubi now. And Mike was able to see the film before he died. He died shortly after the premiere.
Oh,
We won the Ashland Audience Award.
that's amazing. Congrats.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a nice little film, like a hour and a half, a tight 90, and it is like about kids kind of in politics, but it's sort of these nerdy rebels, but it's upbeat.
Sure,
Sure. There's a lot of negative political stuff, and
So do you and Gabor work on putting the film together? Or he was just
we didn't
there
work
that day?
directly together.
I was even working on this. I
How
just
funny.
happened to be here the first time they made the.
Funny. That's so crazy. That's
So-
wild.
Yeah, we kind of over 15 years we've sort of intersected and work on some things together and some.
So both of you have worked on documentaries separately, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
without actually making documentaries or thinking about documentaries before.
Yeah.
What a wild thing. So tell me this, like, what's harder, making the documentary or selling the documentary? Both.
Both.
You say yeah.
Yeah, both in totally different ways, and I think that applies to multiple different mediums. Like,
Sure.
they're very different. Like, I would say documentary is. I'd say the easiest part was actually shooting it. The hardest part was editing it.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, it's very like documentary is very much an editor's medium. We had 3 editors.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big operation.
What about you? Same thing?
Queen of Chess is different because it's archive heavy.
Hmm.
So the family and everyone around the globe, they were recording these girls. So it all depends on the archive, how we are using the archives.
Oh wow.
That's really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
And so now for you, same thing for you. Like the selling is just as hard as the putting it together.
The whole thing was hard.
Yeah.
Everything was
And each of you spent what?
because of the chess players. it
Sure.
was hard.
Right. Because
Chess players are not like regular people.
I had a bit of an easier time on that aspect because basically we were shooting everything. There was some archival stuff, but he had to interact or deal with a group, the family that owned the key footage.
Was that tough? Did you have to get approval for all the stuff?
Of course, and the chess play you cannot deal with chess players because all they want was to win.
Right. Yeah.
So
They're-
I've always thought of it as a team, but the chess players seems like
So they're really locked in.
yeah, they are only focusing on winning.
How long do you think that's like that? Is that always forever? Like, is it just like, is it like, okay, like, is it like an athlete where it's like a solid laser focus of 10, 12 years until they're no longer that way? And like, for example, a basketball player can't play forever and then eventually they have an after season. But is chess, is a mentality something that goes continually or is
It's
it?
like it.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's tough. I don't know if I could be around a chess player. That might be a lot, right? Like it's like it takes a certain personality, huh?
It is a lot.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, so tell me this. I don't know, I'm just curious. So is there anything that you guys have experienced in your background making these documentaries that you feel has been a big help in helping you create Wolf's Edge? Like, has it been something that you could go, oh man, I can use that experience and bring it into this arena?
I think just in terms of my experience making Gadfly, I learned a lot about just working with different people.
Okay.
And that are specialists in a different thing that I'm not a specialist in, and just
Yeah.
being very clear, keeping things light. I mean, we're all trying to work hard here. Like the last thing we need to do is be tense. Like
It's very interesting that you say that. You're a young guy to pull that off like that, to know those things. That's hard. A lot of people, they don't work like that. And that's why there's a lot of problems,
We want to work like we want to eliminate the stress.
yeah,
It's amazing.
As much as possible.
Of course, that's
because it's
amazing.
not, creative. Like
Sure.
It's not helping.
yeah. I mean, any stressful like anything that is stressful, like hopefully it's a good stress.
Right.
Like trying to an exciting
Sure.
thing. Like, oh, we got to get this thing done
Trying to achieve
in a
something.
positive way.
Yeah.
I've been on sets or in situations where like things kind of can fall apart, and once like a little toxicity gets into something, like it's a freaking nightmare, because it's really, all this is really hard work.
Yeah, it is.
And and I like to think that most creatives in your field and comics and film or whatever
Sure.
were inspired at some point in their lives. Like, I want to do arts,
Right.
'cause I want to tell stories. I want to draw. I want to play.
It's a situation where it's something that we get to do. It's not have to do.
Right.
And so you want to always keep that in your mind as you do it, because it's like, it should be nice.
Yeah, and like I know that there's deadlines, and there's
Sure.
and things are complicated, and everyone's out of money, and everything's expensive, and and then we have like, oh, who owns what, and there's all this complicated stuff. But like, if you have to kind of actively say we have to create a climate,
Right.
positivity,
You're right.
and hard work. Sure.
Something that nurtures the creativity you want out of everything.
Yeah.
So what about this? Like, so right now the Kickstarter that you guys launched, which is for Wolf's Edge issue 1.
The whole thing.
It's a whole.
The Kickstarter is, you can buy all 3 issues.
I see.
We're finishing the 3rd one.
I see.
We're getting there.
That's why you. Okay, I get it.
It'll fund the prints and some stickers and stretch goal stuff,
Yeah.
posters.
So,
But you can get the whole volume 1 you know.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was just for the first
Well,
issue.
some folks were like, "Oh, you should just break it into mini campaigns."
Yeah. Why didn't you do that? Why come you guys didn't do
I
that?
don't know. I mean, well, we thought that maybe it would be nice for people to get the whole story.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know,
So when they get the story, can they get all the books into one, like one?
a bundle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a bundle of like the normal covers, which are really nice, and then
Yeah.
we've got the sort of this double cover
Those are cool. I really like how those printed up.
also as bundles. You can get them individually too. And then we've got the Tony Washington variants are already kind of posted.
That's cool. I know Tony as
We'll have a
well.
variant. You know Tony?
Yeah, he used to work at Wildstorm too.
No way. It's a small world, huh?
Comics, man. It's like the film community. It's like a small little tight-knit group of
That's
people.
really cool.
Yeah, Tony, I didn't work directly with him. He used to come in because he was a colorist at the time. I think he's now just an illustrator, but Tony used to color comics at Wildstorm when I worked there in the studio. And Ryan Benjamin was a studio mate. So he was working on the DCU MMO video game while I was drawing and inking comics there. And so we'd go to lunch together and everything.
That's cool.
And then there was another gentleman who used to come in, Dustin Wynn, and he used to be.
Oh, we met Dustin.
Yeah,
yeah.
Dustin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
got-
saw
bought
his art book.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dustin's a good buddy, and he also was a Wildstorm alumni. So it's like
No way.
it's just small.
We've got to get you all on the same cast at some point.
Dustin's great. Yeah, Dustin's a great guy. He's working on a lot of really fun books. Yeah,
I mean, everyone was so nice
yeah,
at WonderCon.
yeah,
Like,
it's awesome.
I mean, you'll have just some artists that lots of people want to talk to, and you get to talk to them. They're receptive, open. You know, everyone was just lovely.
Yeah. So will you both?
Filmmakers are not like that.
Oh, right.
What's that?
Well, not
Filmmakers
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
some
So,
can be.
you know what?
Can be, but most of the filmmakers are like, you don't want to talk to them.
That's so weird. That's different. You know what? It's just a different thing altogether. So
he's Eastern European, so he's
no way.
negative. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
No.
just kidding.
So tell me this. So you guys had a great time. You liked the experience of WonderCon. You said the possibility of going to a convention in Austin might happen, right?
Yeah.
Would you both go to that one, you think?
Well, that's actually this coming weekend. So
Oh, damn. That's coming. Okay. Well, I think I remember the one in Houston. Was it Comic Palooza?
yeah, I think that's it.
That's a
we
big
want to
one
go to
too.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that's a pretty big show.
And we're applying to do a panel at Comic-Con San Diego. So
Oh, I go to
SDCC.
that one every year.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm always
Yeah.
an artist alley.
So we'll see, but okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
so if we get a panel, we'll be there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So at Comic Palooza, would you guys consider getting like a booth or something? Or
Possibly. I have to we're
Are you going?
looking into
no, I only heard about it. I'm from Texas, so a friend told me.
He's from Houston,
Oh, nice.
right?
Yeah, a friend. Yeah, long. I haven't been there for ages, but he was telling me there's even a show. You should come out here and then we can hang out. And I'm like, which one? And he told me. I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, but in terms of booth, possibly it's coming up, I think, soon.
Comic Palooza.
Yeah, some of these things that
Yeah,
gotta get in early.
Yeah.
I mean, I know SDCC has like years long wait for a booth.
Yeah, that show is a spectacle, though, man.
Yeah.
That's the only 5-day show I know of. Because
Yeah.
it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Wednesday is a preview day, but a lot of business gets made then.
Mhm.
I'll see a lot of like film and TV people running up and down the artist alley and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Well,
That's a good show, though.
well, regardless, we're getting the list together.
That's
We're-
awesome.
We're checking it out. We're gonna
Do you guys do a mailing list? Do you guys collect people's emails at
Yeah.
shows? That's awesome.
Yeah.
You should do that.
yeah.
great.
We got a website, or we have an email list growing.
That's
And
cool.
we're just we're this whole thing, we've learned a lot. We've launched the Kickstarter last week, and just it's all kind of growing, and I think we've done enough right that I don't feel like we screwed anything up,
Sure.
but still have lessons to make things better.
Was it challenging understanding or navigating the Kickstarter platform?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
How many rewards tiers do you guys have? It was all you.
How many reward tiers? Oh God,
A lot.
a bunch. Because now we have options and variant
You can
covers.
mix it
And,
up.
you know, there's packages.
Okay.
So, and there's like early bird tiers, and
Yeah.
I mean, part of me was like, are we putting too much stuff on there? But I think
Right.
people like options, and
Sure. Did you have anything to compare to? Did you have anybody you were looking
Yeah.
at where you go, I want to do it like that, or I really like this, and I'm gonna do
I think
this?
I just borrowed from lots of different
That's cool.
things.
Yeah, that's good.
And Kickstarter was wonderful. Like
Yeah.
Sam, who's over at the head of comics at Kickstarter, like we emailed him and he helped. He gave notes, and
That's cool.
you know, they're very engaged and they want people to succeed. So
Yeah.
you know, it was it was it was good. It's a lot of work, like just for anyone thinking, oh, we'll just build the page and
Yeah. Right.
they build it and they will come.
Sure.
It's really not like that. It's a lot of work, but it's rewarding. It's fun. You know, our our main objective is like engaging with an audience,
Right.
and it's a great community on there. And I've been messaging with backers will message me with questions, and I'm trying to stay
cool.
on top of it. And
Yeah.
all the interactions have been wonderful. I mean, yeah, like it's cool. It's a cool place.
Hopefully you guys get enough copies where there's a point that maybe the overflow of books, you can then solicit retailers or stores that you can see if they'll carry some of the books in brick and mortar places, because that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and we're like kind of emailing, out like community or like publications, like online groups to maybe review the book, or I mean, it's a pretty big world.
Yeah.
There's
You know what?
lots of
Hey,
websites and podcasts.
You might even be able to, see if you can call up like a local comic book store to do like a signing and take some
Yeah.
extra copies.
We
That'd be
went to
kinda
Golden.
cool.
Is it called Golden Apple?
Yeah, Golden Apple's a popular one.
Yeah. They said we could do a signing at some point.
That'd be awesome. That's a really popular store. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Jim Lee did a signing there for Hush.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you guys should definitely take advantage of that opportunity.
We'll
That'd
have to
be
do
really
it with
cool.
you with your variant cover.
That'd be
And-
awesome.
And
Yeah, let me know.
yeah. So, anyways, do you have a website or?
You know what? I will
Or like-
send you a link.
Yeah. So, but Coffin.
It's coffincomics.com,
Yeah.
Lady Death Store. But I will share like a link for my newsletter with you guys. I'll send it to you. Maybe we could put it at the bottom of the
We can.
thing.
Yeah, for sure. We'll put it out there.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Well, Joel, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's
Yeah,
great
this
chatting
is
with
so
you
fun.
guys, man. It's great chatting
Yeah,
with my friend.
We're
and,
excited for.
Welcome to the Wolfpack.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I love it. It's exciting times. Looking forward to what comes of it.
Cool. Well, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next Wolfpack. Oh.